The world we live in today is full of unknowns, things that you don't know, things that you can't predict. One of the best ways to protect yourselves while driving on the roads, especially public ones, especially ones in metropolitan cities, are with a set of dash cams. My name is Danny from Fuelent, and in this video, we're going to talk about my personal set of dash cams, the Blackvue DR900s-2CH. Guys, make sure you stick to the end of the video because I am so excited to announce that we actually teamed up with Blackvue for this to be able to give away a set of these dash cams to one of you lucky winners out there. So hang tight. We'll give you all the details at the end of the video on how you could win them. These are the DR900s-2CH dash cams from Blackvue. This is the latest that they've done in their product lineup. They have a ton of different options that you can look at, but these are specifically the DR900s-2CH. The 2CH in the name stands for 2-channel. This means that you get both a front and a rear dash cam so that you're protected from both the front and the rear. The front dash cam itself, this is the main unit. This is where you get your power. This is where you hook up the rear camera to. This is where you plug in your micro SD card. It's got the physical Wi-Fi button and it allows you to do the audio controls. It's also got a couple of LED indicator lights around the unit itself just to communicate with you further what's going on in the moment. The front dash cam has an 8 megapixel CMOS sensor, allowing you to capture 4K video footage at 30 frames per second. It's also got a 162-degree wide angle field of view, which if you really think about it, that's not more than like 18 degrees more than 180, which if you think about that, 180 degrees is essentially capturing half a circle in front of you. So it's a little bit less than that. So a lot of frontal footage is captured by this single unit. The rear camera uses a 2.1 megapixel sensor that captures 1080p quality footage at 30 frames per second. It's got a 139-degree field of view, so it's a little bit smaller than the front cameras, but it's still good enough to capture anything and everything that could be coming at you from the back. Both cameras do support H.264 and 265 video encoding, so this will work with a variety of different devices, both phones and computers. And they also have support for low light recording and parking mode. So this is important because what parking mode allows you to do is, as it sounds, you park your car and the cameras are still recording so that even when you're not in your car is still protected. The install process for this set of dash cams is actually super simple. For the rear camera, it already has a pre-built sticky pad on it that you just mount up to your rear windshield, and all you do is just plug in the single cable that it uses and you route that cable either through your headliner or through the bottom of your carpet somewhere, and then you plug it into the front unit itself. For the front camera, this one is the one that actually gets plugged into the power, but if you're not picking up like a hardwire kit, which you can, but if you don't, you can actually run it just to your car's power outlet source, or you can run maybe even like a cigarette lighter or an external one that you can keep under your glove box or whatever, and it'll work just fine. But the front camera also mounts using the same kind of 3M sticky pad to the front windshield, and this is where you plug in the rear camera, the power, and your SD card, and that's pretty much it. Once you get those things powered up, you're good to go. It will record. Let me give you some pro tip here. Just one pro tip that I have to give you because I know that I've already made this mistake and you would think that it's common sense, but sometimes it's not. When installing the set of dash cams, make sure you plug in the power first and then use the app to figure out to see your perfect angle, because what you don't want is you don't want to mount the camera first at an angle that you think looks right and then power it on and then see that it's slanted to the left or slanted to the right. You don't want to do that. So before you actually mount it using the sticky pad, plug in the power, open the app, figure out your angle, maybe put on some blue painter's tape to get your straight line, at least your bottom or your middle or whatever, and then remove the sticky pad and then place it onto your windshield. This will save you a ton of frustration. Let's talk about the storage options now on the camera, because from Blackvue themselves, you can get any of their cameras in any configuration between 32 gigabytes all the way up to 256 gigabytes, but they're not cheap. A set of DR900s-2CH dash cams like the ones that I have right now in my car At 32 gigabytes, start at about $499. That's not cheap. And these record in 4K. So 4K isn't a small file. So if you do 32 gigabytes, you're not going to have a whole lot of footage there stored on the memory card. It's just constantly going to be cycling through and through and through, which isn't a problem if you're a safe driver. But let's say that you want to get dash cams for a different purpose. Maybe you like to go cruise on the weekends. 32 gigabytes is probably going to get overwritten in maybe an hour. And I've been to these kinds of cruises, they go on for multiple hours. So you might be better off just getting a bigger memory card. The cameras have a built-in Wi-Fi. This is so that you can use the app on your phone, regardless of if you're iOS or Android, to be able to actually see and download the footage that you're recording and play with a couple of the settings like dates, times, languages, so on and so forth, the typical standard tech stuff. There's a couple settings in there that are important, like the G sensor tracking. So how much movement it takes from any direction of your car to indicate that while your car was parked, something actually happened. Just things like that. Like, these are very important settings that you get to play with through the app. But I have to be honest, the app is a little bit clunky. It's not the easiest to navigate. It's not the smoothest. It's not the most logical thinking. Like, I can't tell you how much I struggled just to find like things like date and time at one point. Now I know where it is exactly, but I guess it's more of a learning curve maybe. But just, you know, things that you would think would be in general settings, you know, typically aren't there, or, you know, just something like that. Like, that's kind of what it is right now. Thankfully, Blackvue is actually really good at pushing out updates via the App Store. So, you know, every week or every other week, I'll have a new update that tweaks some bugs, fixes some things, and then changes a couple of the menu items. They haven't quite nailed it just quite yet to where I'd like it to be as kind of a techie, but it's at a pretty good spot. Things could still be a little bit more logically organized, but I mean, with time. My least favorite thing to do within the app though is download footage from the dash cams onto my phone. Let me explain to you why. Because they have this thing called internal storage, right? Internal storage, that's basically a cache on your phone. So however big storage space your phone has, that's the camera's internal storage, right? So let's say, for example, you need to get a video clip off of your dash cams and onto your phone. You first have to save it to your internal storage. It's going to take about, for me at least, it takes anywhere between 4 and upwards of 10 minutes sometimes. Not every time, but sometimes. Now, given that these are 4K files, it doesn't record, every clip is only a minute long. It doesn't record indefinitely because it's constantly reading and writing to the memory card. That would burn out the memory card very quickly if it just constantly wrote one long file. So it records in 1 minute long clips. So 1 minute a clip can take me sometimes between 4 to 10 minutes to get from the camera to my internal storage. The last feature that I have here to talk about that is kind of cool but requires a little bit of a lot is the Blackvue over the cloud feature. This is a cool feature because what this does is it lets you connect your cameras to a Wi-Fi source that actually is connected to the internet. And what that does for you is, to your phone, you can get notifications from your dash cams to your phone regarding things like movement, motion, any sort of impact detection, anything like that. The only thing is that I think this was intended for people with mobile hotspots, because for me, for example, I have it hooked up to my parents' house Wi-Fi, but I'm not in range of my parents' house's Wi-Fi, so I don't get any of those notifications to my phone. Okay, guys, finally, other than that, there's really nothing else that I have to talk about the cameras. The install is super simple. The 4K footage pretty much speaks for itself. You're covered. You're covered front, back. It's just an extra piece of security if something does happen while you're out on the road. Just coverage, man. Insurance companies love, oh, that's the other thing. Insurance companies, depending on who your insurance company is, if you tell them you have a set of dash cams installed in your car, guess what? Discount for you, win. Ha. Not every insurance company will do that, of course, but you're gonna have to talk to yours. Maybe you'll get a little kickback, maybe you'll get a little discount on your insurance bill every month or every 6 months, however you pay for it. But just an added bonus of having dash cams and how they can pay for themselves long term. Okay, Giveaway details, guys. We have to talk about this. This is super exciting. It couldn't have been possible without the help of Blackvue. This is all you got to do. In our description down below, we have a link. Click on that link. It's going to take you to a page. Follow the directions on that page, because at the very minimum, all we're asking you to do is subscribe to Blackvue on YouTube and subscribe to Fuelent on YouTube. For bonus entries, you can always follow, like, share the video, and follow them and like them across all of the social medias below. Everything is going to be in the link for you to do and to increase your chances of potentially winning the set of dash cams. The one thing that I forgot to mention is that the set of dash cams that Blackvue is being generous enough to give away is a 64GB set of DR900s-2CH dash cams. That's a $530 value. That's, guys, you could win that. It could be yours. Don't sleep on this, because it's not going to happen often. Guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Good luck, and we will see you soon.